This week on Painted Plastic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Painted Plastic. Brandon here with episode 7, and it's finally time to do something about these inner frame parts. If you remember way back in episode 2.
So now we can set these aside. These are essentially done until the next stage, which is going to be down the road a little ways. We got some other things to do first, but we'll get back to why these are black real soon. Stay tuned.
Yeah, so let's see what we can do with these things. I want to make this look like this, right? Nice and metally, right? And how did we do that? Well, I used a product that actually I just found it I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, something like that. It's actually this right here. It's called C-1 Metalizer, and it is a wonderful, wonderful product. You get a really, really nice metal finish, right? Really, really easy to use. Now keep in mind that this is just over, a gloss black primer, right? If you were to actually put a, like a real coat of gloss black and polish it up and get it super smooth, this stuff will look like mirror. I mean, you see right there, it's a decent reflection, right? And this is just on primer, right? But it's a really, really nice product. What it is a graphite powder, right? And it will get everywhere, so be real careful when you're using it. But anyway, you put it on, you buff it off, and yeah, you don't have to wait for it to dry. You can paint right over top of it. I painted these little bits black, painted some iron up here, right? Just for some variation, right? A little bit of gold, right? So yeah, give me just a second to get everything set up, and we'll get started on these. It couldn't be easier to use. It's really a great product. So give me 1 second. Be right back. All right, so we're back. My apologies for the white paper. It's probably going to wash everything out, especially when my black gloves come into camera. But it's the best I could do. So let's get started on this piece here. As I mentioned, we're going to be using C-1 Metalizer. What you get in the box is the powder itself, right? You get a couple of these little applicators, right? They just look like little makeup applicators. That's what you use to put it on. The paper, incidentally, is because this is the messiest thing. It will go everywhere. Protect your workspace, or you'll have a big metal workspace, right? A couple other things we'll need. Got a few cotton rounds, right? Again, these are just out of my wife's makeup bin, so grab some of those. And of course, as with any other process, cotton swabs, right? Q-tips. One thing else that I'd highly recommend, and I use it anytime I'm using this product, is just a regular old dust mask, right? And you can see, right, this has been used a couple of times. I'm not going to use it today because you wouldn't be able to understand me, right? But ordinarily I would wear that, and I recommend wearing it anytime you're messing with this stuff. So yeah, let's get right into this bin. Like I said, this will go everywhere, so be very, very careful. You can see just taking the lid off, it dumps everywhere. But it's basically, I don't know exactly what it is. It reminds me of like a graphite powder or something like that. I don't even know if you can really get a good shot of that, but anyway, that's what it kind of reminds me of. So what do? Take our part and be pretty liberal. You really want to get it everywhere, but get quite a bit on your applicator, and then just start smearing. And right away you see that it gives you a beautiful, beautiful shine. Right, this is just initially. But make sure you get it. Now, if I don't get it inside these little holes here, that's perfectly fine with me. It'll look like a little recessed detail. But yeah, otherwise you just coat the piece. And like I said, be generous. You know, this stuff is going to get everywhere anyway, you know. But look at that, right away. And with very little effort, you get a really, really nice looking metal finish. Right? And we're not even done yet. Of course, there's a million different products for doing, you know, metal finish, chrome finish, whatever you have, alclads, various spray products. But, you know, for just the ease of it, I love this stuff. I will say I had to order it out of the UK. I wasn't able to get it anywhere else other than from the company. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description, but that was the only, you know, that was the only kind of downside, is that I had to order it and it took a while to get here. But other than that, I love it. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if you were to actually do a proper gloss coat, proper, you know, black gloss coat, and buff it out, make it extra smooth, you can get a mirror finish. I mean, literally, like mirror reflectiveness, just by using this powder. Get a little more. Excuse me. But just like that. See, we coated it. Now this part won't really show, the top will, but that's about it. So I'm not too worried about all underneath. But yeah, just get it everywhere. And you can see by my desk, this is why I put the paper down. It is super messy. But once you got it nicely coated, actually, I'm going to put the lid back on this before I have a disastrous mess. Put that back in the box. And I put that back in the box. Alright, so we got a good coat all over, right? Grab one of our cotton rounds, and we're literally just going to buff it and take off any excess material. I'm not being particularly gentle, not being, you know, I mean, I'm not manhandling it, but, you know, not being gentle with it, just wiping off the excess. And for crevices and stuff that you can't really get into, grab a cotton swab. But look at that, you know. And like I said before, this is just a gloss black primer. No particular care was given to it. Just kind of slapped it on, and yeah. And this is the kind of finish that you can get with this stuff. Like I said, I love it. I just love it. And you see, you get quite a bit off, you know, and I've got it all over my gloves. My gloves, after a while, these would just look like metal tips on my fingers. But look at that. Right? Got a nice metal shine to it. I will grab a Q-tip to do in these little joint areas. Just get all that off. Look at that. And in what, 4 or 5 minutes, you've got a metal finish that, you know, in my opinion, it looks pretty good. It rivals a lot of the sprays and stuff. Now there are a few drawbacks to this. You can't really gloss over top of it. At least I've not found a gloss that doesn't kind of dull that shine, right? Kind of makes it look like a chrome paint instead of this. If anybody knows a gloss that works really well over these graphite powders, let me know. I'd love to try one out. So this will get installed in the model just like it is, but it's not really a big deal because this stuff is super durable. I mean, it will not wipe away, it will not rub off, it will not, it's on there. And one of the beauties is you don't have to wait for anything to dry. Like, we're going to go in, if you remember on the other one, we had little gold bits, right? And little black circles in the center. We can go right in and start painting. Nothing has to dry, right? So let me clean this up, get the paints out, and we'll start doing some of the detail work on this guy. Be right back. All right, so let's get some details painted on this thing. Got our metal finish, nice and shiny. Got a few colors here. Gold leaf, gonna do a little bit with that. The dark iron, the only dark iron I did on these pieces were right here at the top, and you can probably just see the difference in sheen, right? And then a little bit of the rubber black. I used that just for inside, right? And it looks really similar to the dark iron. In person, it's a little more obvious that it's different, but otherwise, that's what we used. Got a brush, right? And actually got a new tool for this episode. It is the handy dandy paint mixer, right? Just got this. This is a wonderful, wonderful tool. I can't believe I ever shook a jar of paint. It's really, really nice. Here, we'll just do one real quick. Right, and this paint's pretty thoroughly mixed anyway, but yeah, look at that. Right, thoroughly mixed paint, just like that. And I've got my palette over here, so I'm just going to dab a little under the palette. Right. And then to clean, that's the best part of all. Got my little cleaning bucket here. Just right. Boom. Clean, ready to go, ready for the next mix. Just like that. Wonderful tool. If you have a chance, grab one. I'm sold. I'll never shake another can again. So, or another jar. I'll probably shake plenty of cans. But anyway, so got a little paint, right? I'm gonna go ahead and open up my cleaning bucket so it'll be ready to go. Got our brush. Ooh, and we got fuzz on the brush. Not good. Also off camera, pardon my reach, I've got some X20A. If I need to thin the gold, which as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put just a couple of drops initially, just to thin it down a little bit. It'll flow a little better. Get that good and mixed. Right, and now we'll just go to town. So I want to paint these little bumps on the top. Remember, just like the detail painting, you will probably not get everything in one coat. That's perfectly fine. Just do one coat, get some paint on the piece, let it dry. But as you can see, the paint goes right over that metalizer. No problem at all, right? And the paint will stick, no problem. Like I said before, we can't really gloss coat this or really any kind of top coat. It'll just take away from that finish. Sorry, really trying to concentrate on these small bits. But that's it. One coat, done. We'll come back and do a second coat after we do some of the other bits. And these are already good and mixed, so I'm just gonna go for it. And like I said, the only place I did dark iron was just across this top bar. It almost looks like to me it almost looks like maybe a support beam or something, so maybe it's different. But right over top, no problem. The paint will go right on. Right, just like that. Everybody see that? Just like that. And that was straight out of the lid, unthinned. I mean, you can thin it, of course, and I don't know, maybe should, but I find it goes on really smoothly over this metal, right? Just like that. And of course, we'll probably have to come back, second coat, just to make sure it covers, but yeah, just like that. Oh, just a little spot. Yeah, just like that. All right, let's do the rubber black. Incidentally, guys, you know, I know I've mentioned John Michael before. He sent me a ton of rubber black. Wait, just give me 1 second. Yeah, right. These are all just full of rubber black. Right. He knows it's like my favorite color. So he found somebody that had a bunch of them. Like I told you, he lives in Japan, and I guess I don't know if he bought all of them, but it sure looks like he bought all of them. But I really appreciate it. It is one of my favorite colors. XF85. I use it for all sorts of things. Obviously for rubber, like for tires or things like that. But it's great for pre-shading. It's great for just a really flat black. If you want some really deep, you know, flat black, it's a great color. I'm rambling, but it's a great color. So, all right, this is gonna go right in this little cutout, and it's just meant to give the impression that, you know, maybe this is a little recess within the ankle. I didn't get much paint. Sorry, y'all. I didn't get a whole lot of paint on the lid that time, but that's all right. There's a little ridge here that actually makes it pretty easy to just go around. Not even on camera. You can just go around right inside. Right. And again, this will get a second coat. You know, pretty much everything gets a second coat. Very rarely do you cover in one coat. Do the other side real quick. All right. Just like that, we have matching ankles, right? Give those, half hour so to dry and go over it with a second coat, right? Alrighty. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there for this episode. Like I said, all the inner frame parts have been done. Little bits have been picked out here and there. So the next episode, I'm not really sure because we're still waiting on oils to dry, right? That's the beam rifle. It's drying, and the stuff is almost dry, but I'm gonna give it a few more days. So the next episode will either be continuing weathering if the oils finish up, or I did pick sorry, give me 1 second. I did pick up a base, right? This is what we're gonna do the base out of. It's just like a 12-inch by 12-inch square. Actually, is it even 12 inches? Might be 10 inches. 10 inches. 10-inch by 10-inch square, right? And then my plan, I've got this old kind of cheap trim stuff. Had it laying around. So I'm going to cut that and do sort of, this is a horrible camera angle, I'm sorry, but do something kind of like that, right? And so we may get started on the base if the oils aren't done, in the next couple days. So could be one thing, could be something else, might be something totally different altogether. Don't know yet. But anyway, in the meantime, give the C1 a try. It's great fun. You get really, really nice results. So yeah. So until the next episode, thanks for hanging out.